Hello and welcome to Beat the Street on IGTV. This is the show that gives you all the tradable news and data ahead of the Wall Street Open. Well, coming up on today's program, earnings season is in full flow this week with financial results due from tech giants Meta, Microsoft, Alphabet and Snap. This week we'll also see results from Amazon and Coca-Cola, among many others. Also on today's program, Chevron has said it will buy smaller rival Hess for $53 billion, an all-stock deal as the oil major looks to increase its footprint in oil-rich Guyana. And we're also going to be keeping across commodities because oil prices were lower this morning. US WTI sliding in early trade after posting gains of nearly 5% last week amid rising political tensions in the Middle East. Well, good afternoon. I'm Angela Barnes and thank you for watching Beat the Street. Now, it's not long before equity markets open, so let's have a look at how things are trading all session stock on the IG platform. Well, first of all, the S&P 500 is down 0.32%, and then the tech-heavy NASDAQ also in the red, down 0.34%, and the Dow Jones Industrial Average also in the red, down 0.38%. Well, these moves follow a tough week for stocks last week as concerns over higher interest rates sent all three major indexes into negative territory. The S&P 500 ended the week 2.4% lower. The Dow shed 1.6%, while the NASDAQ declined 3.2%, marking its second losing week in a row. Meanwhile, the US 10-year Treasury yield is up over 5%, giving potential upside for the US dollar, although there's currently little movement. If we just switch over to the US dollar basket, you can see it's pretty flat, just down marginally 0.04%, which is where it has been hovering against other currencies. Well, let's move on and look at economic data that we should be watching out for this week. Quite quiet today. However, there's a lot going on this week. We will have US Chicago Fed index figures for September, but let's just check and see if we have those in yet. No, we don't have them in yet. It was down 0.16 in August from plus 0.07 in July. We'll bring you that when it shows up on our screens, but we're yet to get that information. But moving on, also this week in economic data, we have US PMI data for September, flash data due on Tuesday. Manufacturing is expected to fall to 49.5 from 49.8 and services to fall from 50.1 to 49.8. And then on Wednesday, US EIA crude oil inventories for week ending 20th of October data is due. Stockpiles fell by 4.5 million barrels in the previous week. Also, US GDP figures, well, they're due on Thursday. With the world's largest economy, the US, of course, forecast to expand by 4.1% on a year-on-year basis in the July to September period, up from 2.1% in the second quarter. We've also got US durable goods orders for September due on Thursday and initial jobless claims for the week ending 21st of October. Well, goods orders are expected to rise 0.6% month over month. US pending home sales for September also due out on Thursday and are expected to rise 0.9% month over month. Traders are also bracing for personal consumption expenditure data and inflation gauge due for release on Friday. So plenty of economic data to look out for this week. So what are the trading opportunities? Well, of course, investors are likely to be worried that if these reports come out stronger than expected, another rate hike may not be completely off the table. Well, let's bring in Tasty Lies Liz Durking now, who joins us from Chicago in the US. Liz, you're the lady to go to for the trading opportunities off the back of all that economic data. What should we be watching out for?
Angela, thank you so much for having me. And it's, it sounds like a jam-packed week, and there is a lot of economic news coming out this week. But my eye line and a lot of traders are really looking at the VIX, which is the volatility index, or the fear index, as a lot of people have said it. Last week was pretty interesting because it popped up to levels that we haven't been at since March. I mean, it's grazing the 23 level, which is pretty high. So pretty high given this current rate environment. So I think with the volatility being high, traders are that means that we're on uncertain terms on which direction it's going to go. I just want to give you a fun fact though. So last week we were down pretty big, and I think you said that on the last 3 days, but the last 15 Mondays in a row have been up moves. So if we wind up this Monday, it'll be the longest trend in history. So the volatility is saying it can go either way, but I want to see if we can buck the Monday uptrend. So we'll see from there.
Liz, brilliant. And thank you for that. But do stay with us. I'd like to come back to you once we go through the raft of corporate updates, quarterly earnings due this week. So please stay with us. Just to quickly mention, we were going to bring to you quickly the Chicago Fed National Activity Index for September. Well, it's come in at 0.02. So it has been revised down 0.22. So that is the Chicago Fed National Activity Index data for September that's just in. Well, let's bring you up to date now on all things corporate, as noted earlier, because whilst it's a quiet day today, there's plenty of earnings to come this week, including from big tech companies and some of the oil and gas majors, including Chevron. But first of all, let's take a look at what's due out on Tuesday, the 24th of October. Well, we're going to be hearing from General Motors, Coca-Cola, Visa, Microsoft, Alphabet, General Electric and Snap on Tuesday. Well, if we just look at General Motors and we just pull up the price chart for them for a moment. Just bear with me 1 second while I pull that up for you here. It's an all-session stock on the IG platform. Well, investors will be paying close attention to General Motors after it said last week that it's delaying production of all electric trucks at its Orion assembly in the suburban Detroit until late 2025. Well, GM said the change is to better manage capital investments and implement improvements in an effort to make the new EVs more profitable. Well, the all-session stock on the IG platform, its share price, as you can see, is down 0.54% pre-market. Year to date, however, its stock has fallen about 11%. And the latest production delay is the latest sign of potential trouble for the ambitious multi-billion-dollar plans of traditional automakers to move to electric vehicles. So far, this has failed to cheer investors this morning or this afternoon. And moving on as well now to Microsoft. Let's just switch over to the Microsoft price chart because they're also reporting on Tuesday. Revenue numbers for cloud segments will remain in focus at Microsoft. Investors will also be keeping across AI chatter after it revealed a ChatGPT style AI assistant embedded into its Office apps, which will become available from the 1st of November following trials. Well, Microsoft 365 Copilot can summarize meetings held in Teams, interestingly, for anyone who chooses not to attend or can't. It can also draft emails, create Word documents, spreadsheet graphs, and PowerPoint presentations in moments. And its share price, let's have a look today as well. Actually, it was down earlier. It's climbed marginally up now 0.07% ahead of its earnings update tomorrow. Also, in all session stock, as noted, a year to date, its share price is up, however, about 37%. And then Alphabet will be, as I noted, the other big one to watch as well tomorrow. The AI narrative will also be watched when anticipated reports its latest quarterly results. At the end of July, the company reported better than expected revenue and profit driven by growth in its cloud computing unit. Second quarter revenue rose 7% to $74.6 billion from $69.7 billion in the year earlier period. And analysts, however, they don't expect growth to hit double digits again until the fourth quarter. Now, if we look at the Alphabet price chart here, you can see its stock is down marginally 0.3%. It's an all-session stock on the IG platform too. Year to date, however, it has surged about 54%. So we'll be keeping across that as well. And then moving on to Wednesday, we're going to be hearing from Meta, We're also, sorry, let me just pull up the Meta price chart for you. We're also going to be hearing from Meta. It said in its last results update that it expects its third quarter total revenue to be in the range of $32 to $34.5 billion. It said that its guidance assumes a foreign currency tailwind of approximately 3% to year-over-year total revenue growth in the third quarter. Shares of Mark Zuckerberg's social media company have returned 5.8% over the past month. Today, however, it's down marginally 0.02%. Year to date, however, it has surged about 150%. Well, we're also going to be hearing from IBM on Wednesday and also Boeing. So quite a few to watch there. And then moving on to Thursday, we're going to be hearing from Amazon. We're also going to hear from Intel, Ford, and Maersk. But with Amazon, let me just pull up the price chart. As you can see here, stock down 0.77% at the moment in the red. It will wrap the week of big tech earnings with results expected after the market close on Thursday. Investors will likely be keeping across updates on how it plans to expand its drone delivery offerings in line with the law, of course. The company currently has drone postage in California and Texas, and is also looking to launch drone deliveries in a third US state and in Italy and the UK. Well, as noted, stock down marginally today, but year to date, it has gained about 50%. And then on Friday, we're going to be hearing from some of the oil and gas majors. We've got Chevron and ExxonMobil both reporting results on Friday before the market opens. Uncertainty around the trajectory for interest rates has made the overall energy market extremely volatile, in addition to the conflict in the Middle East. Well, Chevron disclosed a $6 billion net profit in the quarter ended June 30th, compared to $6.6 billion the previous quarter, while Exxon posted earnings of $7.9 billion compared with first quarter earnings of $11.4 billion. Well, Chevron shares are actually down about 2.36% today, again, an all-session stock on the IG platform, while Exxon is also trading in the red, down 0.81%. So we'll be keeping across those as those corporate earnings are released and updated with investors this week. Okay, and just staying on the corporate front and with Chevron as well, because it has announced plans today to buy smaller rival Hess Corporation in a $53 billion all-stock deal. Well, Chevron is offering $171 for every Hess share, implying a premium of about 4.9% to the share's last close. Well, CEO John Hess of Hess Corp is expected to join Chevron's board of directors once the deal closes, the companies have said in a statement. And then moving on in other corporate news, China has launched an investigation into Apple iPhone maker Foxconn over tax and land use. Well, BBG is quoting Chinese state media when it says tax authorities inspected Foxconn sites in China, with Foxconn telling the authorities it would cooperate with the investigation. It also coincides with Foxconn founder Terry Gu running as an independent candidate in Taiwan's presidential elections in January. The FT says that it's a contest that will significantly influence Taiwan's relationship with China and tensions in the Taiwan Strait. So we will be keeping across that as well. But let's just bring back in Liz Deaking from Tasty Live now, because there's obviously a raft of corporate updates there to keep across. But Liz, I'm keen to know which ones you're particularly interested in this week.
Thanks again for bringing me back. So it's interesting. I listened to all you were saying, and there's a lot of earnings, but all eyes, in my opinion, are going to be on the Mag 7 of tech, because last week, the tech sector has really been carrying the market on its back as far as for this entire year. The tech sector is up and the regular market seems to be either down or or unchanged at all. So these earnings are pretty important to see kind of which direction it's going to go. And last week it was an interesting tug of war, because you had Tesla, which is a big one, down, and Netflix significantly up. So you're seeing that kind of mixed bag of tricks. So going forward, looking at your Microsofts, your Nvidia, your Google, those are going to be the ones where all eyes are going to be on this week for sure, to see kind of that tug of war, which way the market's going to go. Is going to be, in my opinion, earnings this week.
Okay, brilliant. Liz, thank you very much. Thanks for joining us from Chicago, and we'll see you hopefully again very soon. Thank you. Okay, well, just to wrap up before we end BTS today, let's have a look at commodities, because both WTI, US crude, and Brent climbed in the past 2 weeks on intensifying geopolitical tensions as the war continues to cause, well, the war may cause fresh sanctions on Iran's crude production, and also continues to rattle the markets. But if we just have a look at US crude here, down 0.41% today, and then Brent also down 0.25%. Both have slipped back into the red, and concerns about supply disruptions eased, however, due to diplomatic efforts over the weekend intensifying to contain the conflict between Hamas and Israel. Meanwhile, if we just switch over to spot gold, you can see the price is also down today, 0.15%. Gold had surged since the war started, as it is seen as a typical haven asset to hedge market risks. But gold futures briefly topped the 2,000 mark before pulling back to 1993 on Friday. Today, however, it's, as noted, slipped into the red, currently down 0.14% roughly. Okay, well, thank you very much for watching Beat the Street today. Do stay across all our IG platforms for updates, our Twitter account. Also, we're on Instagram and on our YouTube channel, and we'll also be back as well with a look ahead. And we've always got early morning call as well with Jeremy Naylor each morning at 7:30 a.m. Thank you very much for watching.